no better show than to have our insider, James, on, because, James, holy smokes, there's buzz, rumors, report, I don't know what you want to call it, but there's a lot of smoke, I don't know what it is, going around Broncos country these last few days that the Broncos are going to trade up in the draft for a quarterback. When you hear that, what's your initial thought?
How many days till the draft?
Many. 100?
Yeah. Point.
Yeah.
Like, it is way too early for any of these things to be actually legitimate.
Yeah.
Any of these conversations. Now, listen, there's a lot of conversations that happen down in Mobile right now about players. Most of them are about free agents. Is there draft talk? Obviously, they're there evaluating draft picks.
Yep.
Nobody's doing a deal right now. And if you're near the top of the draft, you're a fool to be even entertaining a deal this early.
Yep.
You take this all the way up to get as much leverage as you want. There's no conversations about what would it take for us to get to. No. I'm sorry. That's not really happening.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's
Yeah.
not. Like, the Bears are not down there going, all right, one's for sale. What do you guys got? Like, no. That's not how you play this. They played it great last year. That's why they got the haul that they got, because they played it so well. None of that stuff's happening this early. We can talk about it. We can debate who they want to move up for. There's no major conversation getting done in Mobile right now this early before the draft on a trade at the top of the draft.
100%. And so I tried to find the origin of where this buzz started, because it's really picked up steam. And I think it came from Denver's own Cecil Lammey. And here's what he put out there. He said, there's a belief by many in the scouting community that Sean Payton has something cooking for the early portion of the draft. People I trust do not see Denver waiting for a falling quarterback. These evaluators believe the Broncos will make a big move up for a quarterback. It's all buzz, of course. This is Cecil. But the Shrine Bowl is where, is where it goes to kick off the draft season. The NFL thinks Payton is going to move up no matter what. Don't ask about compensation. Some think it won't matter because Sean Payton won't wait on a quarterback. He wants his guy now. I saw another draft analyst, more of a national draft analyst, I don't remember his name, said that he was able to confirm this. I personally don't know how you confirm this. So, James, I'm where you are. Is that these are...
So we're confirming the report that the team that doesn't have a quarterback wants a quarterback.
I think that's what we're saying.
Per sources.
Right. And so,
right.
And so that's where I'm at.
They want a quarterback. Of course they do. Let's look. Do we have like a way to pull up like everybody around them that also wants a quarterback?
There's a lot of teams.
There's a lot of teams that need a quarterback.
A lot of teams. And that's why I was looking at the draft order. I don't know where they're going to fall in line.
Can you got it
to.
up there? Can you go down the line?
Yeah. So you got Chicago, Washington, New England.
Three teams that all need quarterbacks.
Yep. Then you go Arizona. They don't need one. Chargers, Giants, Tennessee maybe, Atlanta for sure, Chicago again, Jets, Minnesota, then Denver.
And Minnesota probably needs a quarterback.
Exactly.
If they part ways with Kirk Cousins.
There's a ton of teams.
And then the
that
team
need
right
quarterbacks.
behind the Broncos want a quarterback, and the Raiders.
Yep.
I think you're using Sean's aggressiveness.
Yep.
Sean's inability to accept losing, which is probably at the top of the NFL in terms of head coaches.
Yep.
And his lack of patience for it. And his desire for a quarterback. You can piece those together and put a report out that Sean Payton's going to be aggressive looking for a quarterback. I think also in there, I'm coming in hot today, apparently. I think also in there, Todd, it says, don't worry about compensation, or what does it say about compensation?
It says, don't ask about compensation. Some think it won't matter.
What? A deal has to get done with compensation.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
And it's not like Denver's loaded with tons of options to give away. So the compensation is going to be significant. It's going to take a lot for them to even move up in the draft.
Yep, 100%. And so I think where it starts, when you talk about whether it's this report or whether you just think that Sean wants one of the top quarterbacks in the draft, first you have to decide, okay, how many top quarterbacks are there? I think people believe there's a top 3, I think, maybe a top 2, top 3. And so then you look at, okay, well, how many teams at the very top of the draft need a quarterback? The Bears? James, do you think the Bears, and this might be the most controversial one of the top 3, are the Bears going to stick with Justin Fields? Is there any chance of that, or do you think it's going to be Caleb?
I think it's going to be Caleb, But I don't think it's a no-brainer for Ryan Poles. I don't think the way Justin has earned the respect of that locker room, you have to, and I talked to several GMs about this, you can't listen to fans. Chicago, by the end of the season, they were all behind the fans, behind, Justin
100%.
Fields. You can't listen to fans, but you do in a way, these GMs have told me, like, you have to at least acknowledge your locker room.
Right.
If your locker room really, really likes the guy and wants to keep him, that has to be a little bit into your thinking.
Yep.
Now, Caleb Williams is a really, really talented player. I mean, a really talented player. But what you're weighing is, has Justin come anywhere close to his ceiling? If we trade one and keep Justin, are we just getting better around him? They did a pretty good job this past offseason with putting some more pieces around him. If we could develop more capital, just like we did last year with all of everything they got from the Panthers, and they're not even done using everything they've gotten from the Panthers. Do we even stockpile the rest of our organization even further? I think they do take Caleb, but I think the point is he's going one no matter what. That's still him off the board before the Broncos get a chance to go after. I don't think the Broncos have enough capital to go after one.
No.
What did the Panthers have to give up to get from 8?
Two
Two first rounds
picks,
and a
including
second-
what turned out to be the number 1 overall pick.
And a second-round pick.
A second-round pick.
And
plus,
DJ Moore.
who's a hell of a receiver.
That's a lot to get from 8 to 1.
Yeah.
So
then what's being thrown around now, too, is Pat Surtain. The most valuable piece you have, and maybe like the only true value piece that you have. And so people are saying to make that massive jump, Pat Surtain plus first-round pick this year, which is 12, and then maybe an additional 2 first-round picks. So would compensation matter to the Bears then?
what do you mean to the Bears?
If you're trying to, would the compensation then matter to the Bears to make that decision?
The Bears are going to weigh so many offers because of what we just described, right? What Todd just went down the list, the number of teams that want him. Or also, remember, like, the Bears need to play this in a sweet spot. Like, you want to go down, but you don't want to go down too far. But the further down you go, what do you get? More compensation, right? The further back you go, you're going to get more for that pick. So you got to find that sweet spot about how far you're willing to kind of go down. They're already sitting there at 9, though. So they already have a pick in that range. And then how far back do you go to get as much for the pick as possible before you go further back than you want to? It's kind of like you have all these calculations in every building, and they weigh all of these. But I guess I don't think that's, I don't know. I don't know if that's enough unless you think, I don't know. I think I would have to weigh a variety of them. And are they a corner away?
Right.
They have a really good corner in Chicago right now.
Really
should have been a Pro Bowler this year. I don't know. I don't know if Pat. I don't think Pat pushes a deal over the edge. In all honesty, do you, Todd?
I think he can, but you need a lot more to go with it, not just Pat.
Because you're about to pay him too.
Exactly.
Good point. Because he's eligible for a contract right now.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to pay him top of the market.
Yep. $25 million a year. And that's typically when you have to pay a player in trade value. You get bumped down a little bit.
And like you said, I think the Bears have so many options. Like, I think a smart play for them would be just going to 3, trading with New England. Like, hey, we're going to take him if you guys don't trade with us. You're going to get at least a first-round pick out of that trade. And you can also get Marvin Harrison Jr. because Washington is definitely getting a quarterback. They have a lot of options instead of trying to come
like Atlanta's not too far down to go.
Yeah.
Atlanta's a good spot.
They're 8. That would be the same trade they made.
Exactly.
Yeah, last year.
What's such a good point about this and that you both have brought up is it's not just the Broncos. They're not the only ones in here. There's other teams that are going to be making a push where maybe it's a lot more manageable. And in that scenario you pointed out, Todd, maybe the Bears drop from 1 to 3 and still take a quarterback at 3. But they just picked up an additional first-round pick.
There's so many options for them. And, saying that we're going to be aggressive, I think, like you said, that's not really new news. That's who Sean is.
Sean
we
is
need
aggressive.
a quarterback. We know that. Like, I'm not discrediting the article, but, I mean, that's kind of the common sense when you think about it.
Right. 100%.
A team that really needs a quarterback with a quarterback-heavy draft is really interested in making a move for a quarterback.